You know what's strange? A lot of people don't feel guilty when they're exhausted. They feel guilty when they finally stop being exhausted. The moment your body gets quiet, your brain starts acting like a debt collector. Shouldn't you be doing something? Isn't there a message you forgot? Isn't someone else working harder than you right now? And suddenly rest doesn't feel like peace. It feels like getting caught. You feel when you rest. You've done it again. You sat down for 10 minutes, maybe with coffee cooling beside you, maybe with your phone face down because even looking at it feels like another job. The room is quiet, but not in a relaxing way. It's the kind of quiet where you can hear the fridge humming, the clock clicking, your own breathing getting too loud. You open a show, but you don't really watch it. Your eyes are on the screen, but your mind is scanning a mental warehouse of unfinished things, laundry, emails, that one text, the thing you said you'd start weeks ago. You're not resting, you're lying very still while being psychologically chased. And the weirdest part is, you may even be tired enough to deserve rest by anyone's standards, but some part of you still whispers, not yet. Psychologists call one piece of this contingent self-worth. That means your sense of being okay is tied to meeting certain conditions, being useful, productive, needed, impressive, ahead. Jennifer Crocker and Connie Wolf wrote about this in Psychological Review in 2001, describing how self-esteem can become dependent on specific domains, like achievement or approval. In simple terms, it's like your inner scoreboard only gives you points when you're producing. So when you rest, the scoreboard goes blank. No points, no proof, no applause. This is why doing nothing can feel strangely dangerous. It's not because you're lazy, it's because your nervous system learned to treat usefulness as safety. If being helpful made people praise you, if being busy kept criticism away, if overachieving made you feel less invisible, then rest doesn't just feel unproductive, it feels like disappearing. PubMed. But here's where it gets interesting. Your body doesn't experience rest as optional. There's a concept in occupational psychology called the effort recovery model, linked to Theo Maiman and Gijsbertus Mulder in the late 1990s. The basic idea is simple: effort creates strain, and recovery is how the system returns to baseline. Not as a luxury, as maintenance. Like a phone battery, except the phone has childhood conditioning and a fear of disappointing everyone. Research by Sabine Sonnentag and Charlotte Fritz in 2007 identified 4 recovery experiences that help people unwind from work: psychological detachment, relaxation, mastery, and control. Notice the first one, detachment. Not just leaving the office, not just closing the laptop, mentally leaving. And that's the part guilty resters struggle with. You can put your body on the couch while your mind stays at work, still holding the clipboard, still checking whether you've earned permission to exist. PMC. This is also why vacations don't magically fix it. Kuhnel and Sonnentag studied teachers before and after vacation and found that the benefits of time off can fade after people return to regular demands. That sounds depressing, but it's actually clarifying. The problem isn't that you need one perfect break that finally saves you. The problem is that your system needs repeated proof that stopping is safe. Recovery isn't one dramatic escape, it's a rhythm your body has to relearn, one ordinary pause at a time. Universität Wien. And here's the kicker: your brain hates unfinished loops. In 2011, E.J. Masicampo and Roy Baumeister published research in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showing that unfulfilled goals can create intrusive thoughts. But making a concrete plan can reduce that mental noise. This is related to what people often call the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished tasks stay mentally sticky. So when you try to rest, your brain doesn't politely say, "Enjoy the break." It says, "We have open tabs," and not normal open tabs, emotional open tabs. Prove yourself, catch up, don't fall behind, don't be a burden. It's like trying to sleep while someone keeps tapping the window. This is why rest can make you suddenly remember everything, not because rest is wrong, but because stillness gives your unfinished goals room to speak. PubMed. There's another layer, and psychologists call it self-discrepancy theory. E. Torrey Higgins proposed it in Psychological Review in 1987. The idea is that emotional pain often comes from the gap between your actual self and the person you believe you should be. Your actual self is tired, overstimulated, human. Your ought self is disciplined, grateful, always improving, never needing too much. So when you rest, those two selves collide. You're not just sitting down, You're violating an internal contract you may not remember signing. And because guilt is the emotion of, I've done something wrong, your brain mislabels rest as a moral failure. Wild, right? Hunger doesn't make you selfish, sleep doesn't make you weak. But rest, for some people, has been coded as evidence that they're not trying hard enough. Columbia.edu. Now, before the comment section explodes, there is a healthy version of this. Some guilt after rest can simply mean you care, you have responsibilities, you don't want to waste your life. That's not pathology, that's conscience. But for some people, this isn't ambition. It's fear wearing a productivity costume. It's the trauma version of discipline where your body has learned that slowing down invites danger. Maybe in your family, rest was mocked. Maybe love came with performance reviews. Maybe chaos at home taught you that staying busy kept you ahead of the next emotional explosion. So now peace doesn't feel peaceful. It feels like the moment before something goes wrong. That's the dark layer. Sometimes you're not addicted to productivity because you love achievement. Sometimes you're addicted to productivity because stillness brings you back to feelings you never had time to process. Here's the reframe. You're not broken. You're wired for depth over noise, but your system has been trained to confuse depth with threat. You're not lazy for needing rest. You're someone whose brain learned to negotiate for worth through output. You're not undisciplined. You're recovering from a version of discipline that didn't include tenderness. Self-determination theory, developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, says humans need autonomy, competence, and relatedness to thrive. Not endless pressure, not permanent usefulness. Real motivation grows better when it's connected to choice, skill, and belonging. So rest isn't the opposite of becoming someone. It's part of becoming someone who doesn't need to abandon themselves to be valuable. Selfdeterminationtheory.org. And maybe the next time guilt appears, you don't have to argue with it like it's the enemy. Maybe you can treat it like an old alarm system, loud, outdated, trying to protect you from a danger that may not be here anymore. You can hear the alarm without handing it the steering wheel. Because rest is not proof that you've stopped caring. Sometimes rest is the first evidence that you're finally listening. If this hit home, subscribe to the Psyche Code. If you want to support these deep dives, hit the join button. And if this resonated, you'll probably love the next one, the psychology of people who feel responsible for everyone's emotions. Click to find out why that role is so hard to put down.